Hey guys, I'm Gracie Moore.
And I am Greenwell.
And welcome to the brand new Kentucky Kernel Arts and Entertainment Podcast.
We are tentatively calling it Pop Goes the Kernel. My name is Gray. Obviously, like I just said, here at the Kernel, I am copy and features editor for the newspaper. I am very interested in pop culture and arts journalism, entertainment journalism, and I think Gracie is too.
I am. I'm the digital editor here, and I'm a print journalist major, and I'm also extremely interested in pop culture, everything, movies, music, entertainment, and I love it all.
You may be wondering, why are we doing this? Why are you seeing an arts and entertainment podcast when you're used to sports and news?
Mm-hmm.
Well, me and Gracie figured that since we have these interests, also limited time, we can't always write, we would just start a podcast and talk about our interests instead of trying to find the time to write about them for the time being. Also, I think that there's a market for this on campus, and I hope that, listeners would answer that question for me. But I don't know. I sort of just wanted to have a space where we can talk about what we like for an audience.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of people that focus a lot more on entertainment and pop culture rather than just regular news. And there's, like you said, a huge market for people who are interested in this. And there's not a lot of places that talk about it a whole lot other than, not super reliable sources. And I think it's important that even pop culture discussion comes from, a place of truth, and journalists and entertainment journalism is very important.
I totally agree. This first episode that we will be doing and you'll be hearing today is a pretty jam-packed episode.
Yes.
We are recapping the GRAMMY Awards from last week, as well as certain Super Bowl moments that we find interesting because we don't care about the football.
Yeah.
But yeah, we hope you enjoy it. All right, so why don't we go ahead and get into the 66th Annual GRAMMY Awards hosted last Sunday, as of recording. Music's biggest night, allegedly. What are your thoughts on this year's ceremony?
I thought that it was long overdue for a woman-owned event like this. And I ate it up. Absolutely. It was the first Grammys that I was really excited for because I feel like it was the first year that I really knew the artist. I knew, for all of the biggest and main categories, I knew pretty much all of the artists, all of the songs, all the albums, and I knew what I was talking about. I knew what I was watching.
Right.
It's lost a little bit of its sparkle throughout the years, and it used to be a much more kind of formal and, fancy event, I guess. And I feel like now it's become more entertainment rather than formality in a way. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I was thoroughly entertained, and I just absolutely love how many women owned the event. It was amazing.
I completely agree. I am, as a pop music fan and in particular woman-made pop music fan, I was really happy to see just how many of those women were nominated. And I feel like, I don't know, I feel like in recent years or in the past few years, the Grammys maybe not have recognized women, in particular women of color, and in particular people of color in general. So I feel like we're kind of getting on the right track. I thought this year's ceremony went pretty well. They've, like I said, they've garnered plenty of flack in the past few years for kind of being non-event. Additionally, many people, they don't believe that the Grammys award based on quality anymore, which, I guess, because the Grammys are not a fan-voted event, and an academy votes on these, a recording academy. So quality is sort of expected, same with the Oscars, which, votes with an academy. They've had plenty of missteps in that regard, I would say, in particular big categories like Album of the Year, Record of the Year, Best New Artist. But I think this ceremony, it sort of helped them get their groove back a little bit. I liked most of the award choices this year. But yeah, I would say, there's still work to be done, but definitely more on that later. Why don't we get into our favorite or best wins of the night? I'll start out by saying that I was really happy to see Paramore win Best Rock Album for last year's This Is Why. Believe it or not, it is the first woman-fronted band to ever win the award, which is crazy.
Wild.
Crazy when you consider how many woman-fronted rock bands there have been in the past 50 years.
A lot.
A lot. I really liked that album. It was more of an understated release from them. Plenty of bangers, but also plenty of quiet moments.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was quite good that it went to Paramore, like a woman-fronted rock band.
Yeah.
But yeah, not a mind-blowing album by any means, but I was like happy to see that they got it.
Yeah, I was surprised that more people weren't discussing that after the fact. I feel like it kind of got overshadowed by some of the other awards, which were also just as huge. But yeah, they need some more credit. It's amazing and insane and ridiculous that it's taken this long for a woman-fronted rock band to win. But I'm glad that they did.
Yeah.
And yeah, Song of the Year was another big one this year.
So I think we both are in unanimous agreement that we are fans of this Song of the Year choice. It went to What Was I Made For from the Barbie soundtrack by Billie Eilish and, co-written with her brother Phineas, who she makes most of her music with. What do you have to say about What Was I Made For?
It was the Song of the Year. It was absolutely the most impactful and lyrically best written song. And this category, I think a lot of people kind of forget the differences between these categories. And Record of the Year and Song of the Year are two that get confused a lot.
Definitely.
And Record of the Year, if you don't know the difference, goes mainly towards, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but the engineers and the producers of the song. So it's more of a production award.
Yeah, it recognizes the talent across the whole board.
Exactly. Whereas the Song of the Year is more composition and lyrical, and they're talking about the songwriting. So it's a songwriting award, and What Was I Made For had amazing and beautiful songwriting. I think that A&W by Lana would not have been a bad choice. I wouldn't have been upset with that. But I was very content with their decision there.
Yeah. I love that song. I also love A&W by Lana. It was between those two for me.
For sure.
But What Was I Made For was sort of a movement. I really, that song is so understated, but it's also so grandiose in its messaging.
Yeah.
I feel like anybody, particularly women, but like it's such a universal story to feel that way and to feel the way that Billie Eilish did when she made it. It's for the Barbie soundtrack, but she also was pretty outspoken and said, this is about my life too. It's not just for this movie. I didn't just make it for this movie. I feel this way. And I was really happy. I'm a man, but I saw plenty of women speaking about this song throughout the year and just this is how it feels. Like, what was I made for? Like, and when you're a woman and you're like pitted against society, that's how, it's that sad sometimes. Like, I don't know, but I love that song. I think it's so understated and I think it's so intimate and definitely Song of the Year. I feel like it was everywhere.
I completely agree. How about the best new artist this year, Victoria Monet?
I was quite pleased to see this go to her. Pretty stacked category this year. We had Noah Kahan and then Ice Spice, Gracie Abrams, War and Treaty, I think, were also nominated.
Yes, yeah.
They're quite good. But Victoria Monet was also nominated. And I love Ice Spice. I would have loved to see this go to Ice Spice. But when you have Victoria Monet, who has been in the business for over 15 years now, I'd say, and has worked pretty behind the scenes for most of that, but also has made her own music, which is quite good. It went to her, and I was very happy to see it, and I think she was very happy about it too. Of course, best new artist is kind of a cooked category sometimes because Victoria Monet is not a new artist,
no. And
they'll nominate artists who aren't by any means new. Yeah. But I think it sort of, speaks to like maybe a breakthrough that this artist had. So while they may have been active for quite some time, maybe they had pretty big moment in the year. And I definitely think Victoria Monet did. Her album Jaguar 2 is like phenomenal. And she has been producing and writing for other people for quite some time. Her and Ariana Grande work together a lot. And I think she's this really genius mind. And like her own brilliant work aside, she changed Ariana Grande's career a little bit for a few years, because Thank You Next, and then I think Positions a little bit. She worked on that, and that totally reinvented her sound for the time being. I think she's shifting a little bit, but more on that later. But yeah, I was happy to see it go to her, and she is just such a talent. Like I really do like her, and I think she gets music a lot, and I was just really happy to see it go to somebody who, knows the honor of that. And
Yeah.
her speech was incredible. She went on for quite some time, and they tried to shut it down, but that's usually how the Grammys goes. But she talked about how she put in the work, and she spent a decade, working and making music, and she finally got her to where she was on that stage. And I really appreciated that. It made me a little bit emotional because I do quite like her.
Yeah.
So, what did you think?
I was happy with it. I will admit, I did not really listen to her until this year's Grammys. But when I saw that she won Best New Artist, I the next day went to her discography and I listened to Jaguar 2 in its entirety. And I started listening to some of the deeper tracks. And I mean, she is just phenomenal. Everything that she does is phenomenal. And she's been putting out music for almost 10 years now and got Best New Artist. Like what you said, that's crazy. And I think that it is really interesting how they tend to choose for Best New Artists that have been around for a long time because of them having a breakthrough moment.
Right.
I think it would be nice if they were able to kind of give two categories, and one for somebody who was actually new, because I have to give Ice Spice credit in the fact that, she really just came out last year and blew up. And now she's just absolutely huge. And so she gained traction super, super quickly. And I think that is something to reward people for, and recognize is a better word. But it's also really important to give recognition to people like Victoria who have been around for so long.
Right.
So it was amazing to see. I'm very happy for her, very happy that she got recognition, and super happy that now I have her music to add to my lineup.
Yeah, definitely.
She's amazing.
So you think that maybe in the future, a breakthrough artist category and also still a Best New Artist?
Yeah.
I agree with that.
I think that because they're two very different things, but they're trying to tag Best New Artist as the breakthrough category, because I looked at it and they said that is what they do. They do it for an artist that has a breakthrough moment with the public and a huge impact within a certain year. And while Ice Spice did have that, Victoria did as well. So did Noah. So did a lot of other people. Warren Treaty. So giving a Best New Artist and breakthrough artist would allow for a lot more artists to get recognition that they deserve.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
Also, lots of recognition for Boy Genius. I know we're both big fans. We both attended the Aero Store, and I think they both they opened for both the shows we went to. It was quite good. They took home Best Rock Performance for Not Strong Enough, which deserved. And Best Alternative Music Album for The Record. I mean, we simply cheered. What a great year for them. They did so many huge things. I definitely think Best Rock Performance for Not Strong Enough was deserved. Best Alternative Music Album. I'm a Lana fan, so I really would like the Grammys to recognize Lana one day.
It's about time.
I don't know when that will be.
Oh,
but
man.
yeah, I mean, I love Boy Genius. I think they've definitely earned their spot in the top. And you don't usually see music like that in the top. They're singer-songwriters. They're quiet indie rock stars, but indie adjacent, I would say. But yeah, I mean, definitely happy to see that go to them. I loved it. And I love them. I think they're, great people too. So why not? Not Strong Enough, Best Song of the Year. Honestly, truly. But yeah. What did you think?
I was super happy. I adore them. I love all their music individually and together. And it's just they were just so happy. And it was so sweet. I love their relationship. And it's just, they're adorable. I love all of them, and they deserved it. Very, very deserved.
Talk about another woman-fronted rock band.
Yeah, come on.
At least give them the recognition, I guess.
Come on.
Let's get into worst wins, and I feel like we may upset a few people when we say this, but we mean it out of love.
We do.
We only have one album on this list, or one project on this list. I couldn't really think of any wins that I was like, I disagree with this fully.
Yeah.
But this was probably the one that I did. Taylor Swift, who,
Our queen.
Hand heart, we're Swifties.
We love her.
She took home Album of the Year for Midnights. I certainly don't think this is the worst anything, but definitely the weirdest win yet, and her least deserving when you consider her other 3 Album of the Year wins.
Yeah.
But, she broke a record, so we cheered anytime she does that. But still, what do you think?
It was weird. not weird. It's very suspected. It's I expected that the Academy would give it to her. But it's just not the most deserving album that was there.
I completely agree.
It was a great album. It was impactful. And she broke records, which is great. But like SZA and Lana, I mean,
so much better.
Albums were just so versatile, so well done, and so like groundbreaking. And Midnight's just wasn't anything groundbreaking to me.
It's pretty run-of-the-mill Taylor Swift pop.
Yeah, exactly.
It was good. It was fun. I had fun with it, but certainly not. It exists more so as a vehicle to kick off the Eras Tour than anything else, I think.
Exactly.
Which it did great, but definitely not Album of the Year.
I want to see some other artists getting recognition. As much as I do love Taylor, she's had her flowers.
For sure.
For albums that she deserved it for.
Maybe biggest snubs. We already talked about this, but SZA,
Yeah.
A Little Criminal. She took home a few awards. I don't remember the exact names of those awards, but I think she took home Progressive R&B Album for SOS, which is good, but I think people have their qualms with that category. Definitely deserved Album of the Year. Like you said, like SOS was so versatile and just as successful as Midnight's. I feel like people were like, okay, Midnight's won because it was the most successful. SOS was pretty successful. They both stayed on the charts all year. And then you know what? They're not going to give it to Lana ever. So why not SZA?
Why not SZA?
That's my opinion. But
yeah. And speaking of Lana definitely deserved a lot more. I think she should have won Best Alternative Album.
I completely agree.
But the boys got their flowers in the rock category, so I think that Lana deserved for alternative. I want her to get her recognition. It's
long overdue.
Long overdue from the Academy.
It feels a little pointed sometimes. I know that she's not an artist who cares about that, but I have to make the point that the Grammys care when artists care. Like Taylor Swift, she's a Recording Academy darling. They love her, she loves them, and she plays the little game that they do with their artists. Exactly. So therefore she wins awards. Also, she just makes good music, so she wins awards. But, Lana doesn't like to play that game.
Absolutely
and
not.
That's her prerogative. That's totally fine. But it feels a little pointed when, she shows up to this event with a perfect album. I would say it's, Ocean Boulevard was her best album. So why no awards? I'm not sure, but I would guess it has something to do with the fact that she doesn't like to pander to the Recording Academy, which is totally fine. But it's a little sad to watch sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. She shouldn't have to miss out on that just because she won't play their games, like you're saying. How about what are we thinking about Olivia here in Guts?
I'm a little sad.
Yeah.
It was a little sad to watch, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
And I think she was a little sad too.
Yeah.
I was watching her, and I think she probably expected to walk home with something, but she didn't walk home with anything, which was quite weird. Guts, to me, screamed pop vocal, easy run-in for pop vocal. Even Vampire, maybe Record of the Year.
Yeah.
I think that was quite an interesting little ditty that came out, and I don't know that people love that song the way that I do, but it is a very weird song, and it shouldn't work as well as it does, but yeah, definitely. I don't know. I just why the No Olivia awards? It was kind of weird. It was, and I think she thought it was weird too.
Yeah.
Not that she expected to walk home with something, but she put out an album that was far better than her first, and Sour was already huge. But yeah, I don't know. What did you think? It was kind of weird to watch.
It was weird to watch. I definitely agree with pop vocal album for Guts. I think that definitely should have taken it. I don't think that I love Vampire as much as you do. I think that was one of my least favorite songs off of Guts, personally.
Oh, really?
I really like her songs with a more, I like her more kind of rock.
Yeah, like pop punk.
Yeah, I like her pop rock. I really, really like Bad Idea, Right, and some of those kinds of songs. And so I think that Vampire just wasn't as much like my speed, which plays into that a lot. But regardless of that, I think that it could have very well taken Record of the Year. But yeah, it's wild that she didn't take anything home, because I think Guts was, as you've mentioned before, an excellent sophomore album. I think it was almost perfect, and she deserved a lot more for that.
Yeah, a little sad. Okay, so why don't we just go through, like, maybe in general our best or, like, favorite moments from the Grammys? Maybe not an award or a snub, but, you know, moments in general. I think we're going to have the same one, big one at least. A certain artist, blonde, pop star, announced her 11th studio album when she accepted the award for Best Pop Vocal Album. Miss Taylor Swift. Well, we thought it was going to be a certain Reputation.
Yeah.
Taylor's version, to be specific.
Yeah.
We were tricked, we were fooled, and we were lied to, like we always are.
Yep. Every time.
Every time. But, you know, she got up on stage. She thanked everybody for the award, gracious queen. And then she surprised us by saying that her, you know, 11th studio album that she's been working on for 2 years, question mark. She got up on that stage, announced it. It's called the Tortured Poets Department. When she said that, I wanted to pee my pants.
Crazy.
What? What does that mean? What does that mean? You're speaking gibberish.
Yeah.
But yeah, she got up on stage, announced it. I texted everyone I know, including you.
Yep.
I just said, kill me, kill me, kill me, kill me. What does this mean? What does this mean? What should we talk about it? Should we talk about it? What do you think? What do you make of the announcement?
Oh my God, it's insane. Everybody thought it was going to be Reputation,
Right.
Taylor's version. Everybody. I mean, Twitter was going absolutely I'm so sorry, Elon Musk. X was going crazy. Everybody was losing their mind. I mean, it was an absolute gag. It was insane. The track list is wild. It's a trip.
A little revealing.
Yeah.
Won't get into that. I will not be discussing the personal matters of my favorite pop star on this podcast, but very revealing.
Yes, exactly.
Very harrowing. Shook the ground that I walked on a little bit.
Yep.
What do you think this album is going to sound like?
That's a great question. I think that she's going to go a lot more songwriter. I think it's going to be a little bit more like stripped down.
I hope.
Yeah, I hope. I'm hoping for not as crazy production. You know, we don't need a ton of, like, I hope it doesn't sound like Midnights with the production of it.
I completely agree.
I want it to be a lot more like Red, or, you know, kind of like a combination of everything that she's done. But with her, I have no idea what to expect. It could be just about anything.
She dictates my life.
She does.
I don't know anymore.
I don't know what to do with anything.
I don't know. I wake up every day and it's a new thing.
Exactly.
I definitely agree with you. I would hope for, and we've discussed this ourselves, but I would hope for more of a singer-songwriter approach.
Yeah.
Maybe similar to Folklore, but maybe Folklore's cousin who goes to Brown and, you know, dresses in sweaters and, like, reads books and, you know, is an Ivy League darling. I would hope that for something like that, maybe a little sonically something similar to The National, maybe their past two records, a little less folky, more so, maybe noisy. I would hope for, like, you know, still an understated record, but also something with a little tweak, interesting, like definitely a national record. I would love it to sound like a national record, maybe with the Taylor spin. I would hope for that, for a little more uniqueness, but I hope for something quieter too. Midnights was a lot. And, you know, if it's a breakup album, which it seems to be, and like I said, I won't get into that, but I would hope for something like Red. Red was the last true breakup album we had from her, and Red is probably my favorite Taylor Swift album. So I would hope for something similar, but either way, I am along for the ride.
Oh, I will be listening regardless.
So Long London, track 5, I'll be tuned in.
Yeah.
Night of release, I'll be tuned in.
Oh, you best believe it.
But yeah, that's all I have to say about that for now. I'm totally gonna pass over the fact that I spent 1 hour in an online queue trying to pre-order the album the night it was announced. But definitely not my most proud moment. But we cheered regardless.
But not your worst either.
Not my worst.
Definitely
not my worst. What else? I guess we can both comment on this, but in terms of moments, I don't like the cover of Fast Car by Luke Combs, Tracy Chapman's original song, but I think me and you felt very similarly in watching that performance that they did together at the Grammys, and I like I said earlier, like, I don't know, I like to say this, it shook me to my core a little bit. It was a little seismic for me, very emotional, but I liked the way that he did it. I may not like the cover, but he gave her the moment, and he didn't make it about himself, even though, you know, his cover was nominated for a Grammy, and I think won, but I'm not sure. He gave her the moment, and he was reverent about it, and he let her take center stage. And, you know, he sung along with her and everything, but it was truly about her song, and it was quite emotional to watch, honestly. Like, I love that song. Obviously, that song is a touchstone. It is a cultural touchstone. There will never be anything like it.
No.
And there was nothing like it prior. But I was really happy that he gave her the moment.
Exactly.
And, you know, I don't mind Luke Combs. I'm sure he's a great guy, like, to my knowledge. But, you know, when you cover a song like that, you got to pay tribute to what came first. And I think that he did.
I completely agree. Like you said, he gave her the moment. He gave her, you know, the spotlight. He didn't try to take it away from her. Or make it about him. I think it was respectful. I think it was so sweet. It was very touching, and it was so wholesome and precious just to see her reaction when everybody realized it was her. It was just just such a sweet moment.
So sweet. I also have in my notes that watching Joni Mitchell perform Both Sides Now in 2024 on my TV live. Are you kidding me?
Absolutely.
Are you kidding me? Once again, it shook me to my core. It was like an earthquake for me. It was seismic. I kind of had to just take a break and stop watching for a second because it made me really emotional, and I love that song, and I love Joni Mitchell, and that's all I'm going to say because I don't know how to collect my thoughts about that. But what do you think?
I thought that it was amazing. It was beautiful. It was spectacular, and I also loved it. I also loved Annie Lennox. She gave a wonderful tribute to many of the artists that were lost last year, including Sinead O'Connor, and I just thought that it was very beautiful.
Very emotional.
Lots of very emotional, touching, bittersweet moments.
Yeah,
but
you know, paid tribute to beautifully.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Worst moments. We'll be brief because we only have one on our notes. Anytime Trevor Noah opened his mouth.
Yep.
That is my worst moment. I don't have anything against the guy. I just don't think he's funny, and I don't think he's a good Grammys host.
No.
The Daily Show is great, I think. I haven't watched much of it, but I think you agree, his realm is politics. It's not arts and entertainment, and I cringed quite a bit.
He just isn't very funny when it comes to pop culture moments and current events and everything going on. It's just kind of nothing, and he needs to stick with what he knows, which is political comedy, and his talk show, which I don't even believe he does anymore, but that's another issue. I just think that we could definitely do better than him, and we just don't need to give every talk show host a mic.
This much is true. I'm sure he's a great guy. I don't have anything against the guy.
Yeah.
Just not funny.
We could just do better.
We could do better.
Do better.
You know, what else? Like other noteworthy performances, I think we both want to talk about Miley's performance.
Yeah.
Miley Cyrus took home 2 Grammys, her first 2 Grammys ever.
Which is wild.
Record of the Year for Flowers and Best Pop Solo Performance for Flowers. I will allow it. I don't hate that song at all. I wasn't quite a fan of Endless Summer Vacation, which is the album that it was promoting, but I quite like Flowers. And she was very much having fun with that performance.
She had a blast.
She had a blast.
She's an icon.
I didn't want to leave you, but I had to. I didn't want to fight.
But we did.
Started to cry, but then remembered I
just won my first Grammy.
Exactly. It was so camp. It was so camp. And she was very clearly doing a tribute to Tina Turner.
Yep.
And I thought the performance was great. I loved when she went full sicko mode with Flowers. I don't know. I loved it. I thought it was funny. And I thought, you know, if you're going to win your first Grammy after being in the business for over 15 years, that's how you do it. That's how you do it. I don't know. But I feel like that was definitely my most noteworthy moment other than specific awards.
Yeah, it was one of the most fun moments of the night, I think. Just seeing how excited she was.
Definitely.
It was just so fun.
And she owns it. She's so just uncanny and weird, but in a good way. Like, I don't think she cares about the Grammys, but I think she was very happy and proud of herself to be recognized. And
Finally,
I felt that too. And, I don't like all of Miley's music, but I am still a fan, and I think she's a brilliant talent, and she has a great voice, good knack for sound too. So, how long has she been making music? Since 2004, 2005?
So long, like as old as I am, probably.
But
Which
yeah,
is wild.
Definitely crazy. But I like Flowers. I think Flowers is a good record of the year choice, and also obvious pop soul or performance choice. So
yeah, it grew on me. It definitely did. And by the time that the Grammys came around, I was having a blast listening to her sing that up on that stage. So
I can buy myself flowers, and I will.
Yeah, thank you, Miley Cyrus.
Thank you, Miley. Thank you, Miley. Our last bit about the Grammys is, I guess, a callback to our Trevor Noah spiel. We want a new host.
Yeah.
Very badly.
Yeah, immediately.
And I think that host should be a woman or women. Women? Heard of them? Do you forget they exist?
I don't think the Grammys has heard of women. Oh, wait. Now they have.
Now they have.
Just
not a new host.
Not with the hosts.
He is unbearably awkward. That is I'm so sorry, Trevor Noah and your fans. I'm so sorry.
Please don't come for us.
Please don't come for us. We have nothing against Trevor Noah. We just don't want him to host the Grammys. What do you make of it?
I just get so uncomfortable when I try to listen to him talk about things that he doesn't really care or know about a whole ton.
Right.
I mean, when Taylor Swift walked into the room, did we really need a joke about Lionel Richie becoming Lionel Wealthy? Also, what?
What?
Honey.
What?
We need to have people that are in the arts and entertainment industry hosting these things, and not, like I said, not just giving every talk show host a mic. Just because you can talk doesn't mean you should. And, well.
Speak on it.
Yeah. And same goes for the Oscars. And I know that this isn't really on topic, but Jimmy Kimmel doesn't need to be a host just because he has a talk show. So let's just try to find some people who are in the industry, and maybe let's make it a female duo.
I have the perfect choice. In my notes, I wrote down that in the future, Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B should host the Grammys. Mm-hmm. And sue me. Don't actually. I don't have the legal fees, but
no.
I think it should be a woman duo. That would be brilliant. Or a woman on her own. Dolly would also be great.
Dolly would be perfect.
But just someone who understands the climate of artistry and the music industry. But someone who's also funny and can put on a good show and make tasteful jokes.
Exactly.
That
tasteful,
aren't uncomfortable to watch.
Respectful,
but also funny and not unfunny, like a certain someone's jokes.
It's possible.
We can do it. It's possible.
We just have to get there.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think Megan and Cardi would be absolutely perfect. I think Dolly would also be absolutely perfect. I think it would have been amazing to see so many women win with also a woman host leading them.
Right.
It would have made it, I think, even more impactful for me. And I'm just really, really looking forward to seeing some women hosts, hopefully in the very near future.
Fingers are crossed.
Fingers are crossed, folks.
Well, that wraps up our segment about the Grammys. I like I said, I liked the Grammys. I thought it was pretty great this year, but definitely some work to be done in the hosting department and a few other things. But I'm not mad about anything in particular. So I don't know.
Definitely could have been a lot worse. Absolutely. Well, what do you think about the Super Bowl?
The Super Bowl? You mean the Swiftie Bowl?
You mean the halftime show?
I guess we'll just talk about the stuff that we care about because we don't care about the football.
Sorry,
I don't understand football and I don't seek to understand football. And you can sue me over that too. Again, it will probably work in your favor. But I don't know. I just, I like watching basketball. I like watching soccer, a few other sports. But I don't like football and I don't get it.
It's very long.
Drawn out. Why can't they just be friends? Yeah. Football is about the friends we made along the way.
Exactly.
If you weren't aware.
Yeah.
But we're here for the entertainment. Mm-hmm. Halftime show, commercials, and a certain Blondie, a certain Blondie,
Certainly.
up in the VIP box
Mm-hmm.
with her girls. And that is what we care about. And that is why we watched.
Yep.
So I guess we'll get into the minutia of it all. Usher was this year's halftime performer. Usher. What did you make of that?
I mean, they had to switch the song every 3 seconds to fit all of his hits in, which is just like so crazy. I mean, I'll be the first to say, I don't really listen to Usher like in my free time. He's not who I go to when I'm looking for somebody to turn on my walk to class. But when I hear, I'm blanking now. When Yeah comes on though, like,
I'll get up and dance.
Yeah,
I'll get up and dance.
I'll get up out of my seat. He was fun. He was entertaining. His dancing was killing me, and he had a ton of fun guests. I mean, Alicia, her, Ludacris, Lil Jon, will.i.am, absolutely stacked lineup of guests.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think this is where we disagree. I love Usher.
Really?
I'm a big Usher fan. Confessions is one of my favorite albums ever. I also love Raymond v. Raymond. That's like one of my favorite pop albums too, of like the 2010s, I guess. I didn't know how to feel when they first announced this halftime show because I was like, we had Rihanna last year. Where do we go now?
I agree with that. Definitely.
But I guess Usher is a, likely choice if they're trying to find someone who has cemented their place in pop culture, pop music, blase blase. Usher is a great choice.
Has the hits.
Plenty of hits. Yep. I was a little surprised by how R&B focused it was instead of, pop. Usher has pop hits. Usher has R&B hits. He's an R&B artist, but, Usher cemented his place because he also has made pop music and made these huge pop, hip-hop songs, being one of them. Yeah. But yeah, I thought it was fun to watch. A little sloppy in parts, I would say, not on him. I think the stage design of it all was a little ill-considered, but it got better. I would say it definitely got better in general all throughout. My main qualm would just be the Super Bowl's audio. It was horrible.
Yeah.
It was horrible. I
Their
couldn't
audio
hear
is
a
messed
single
up.
thing. And Usher is a great singer. And when the performance started, I was like, what? Cricket, I literally can't hear you. But I know you're doing good because you're Usher and you can sing. But yeah, it was a really nice mix of old and new, slow and upbeat. And so I don't know. I thought, but yeah, he's very charismatic. He's a great performer, great singer.
Yeah, his stage presence is amazing.
Insane. And yeah, like you said, the guests were great. Super fun to watch. I love the roller skating bit. I thought it was great.
So fun.
I thought it was so great. But yeah, pretty good halftime show, I would say.
I agree. I completely agree.
So I don't think we're going to touch on every single commercial because there's hundreds.
Lots of them.
But we need to talk about the global superstar-sized elephant in the room named Beyonce. Come on, Act 2.
Come on, Act 2.
So basically, and we texted each other during this too because we were freaking out. During one of the commercials, of which there were plenty, Beyonce did a commercial with Verizon. Super big budget, super staged. I was like, why is Beyonce doing a commercial? I haven't seen Beyonce on TV in years. But of course, she used the commercial to announce new music.
Of course she did.
To which everyone freaked out, including myself.
Yep.
I was shaking. I was speechless. I didn't know what to do. But it's country music.
It's
Act
country.
2 of Renaissance is country. And I called this when Renaissance came out. So, don't sue me. Like, I called it. But it's country music. And I love that. She released 2 songs from what she would then, announce as Act 2, which is coming out next month in March, which is also crazy. 16 Carriages and Texas Hold'em. What do you think of them?
They're amazing. Been on repeat for ever since they came out.
Yep.
I've listened to them at least once every single day. Many more times though. They're amazing. I love that she released 2 singles, one of them being much more like, how do I describe this? One was a lot more like pop and dancey kind of.
Yeah, one was an upbeat little square dance number.
Yeah. And then 16 Carriages, it was a lot more lyrical. It had a lot more substance, I think. And I just really, I just love them both. They are so amazing.
Good. That stomp in 16 Carriages, that drum beat.
Oh my gosh.
Shook me to my core.
It had me floored. It still has me floored every single time I listen to it. It is one of the best songs that I've ever heard. Genuinely.
Genius.
Yeah, absolutely genius.
Yeehaw.
Yeah.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw, guys.
I'm all for her making country music.
Yeah.
Kind of divulging from the Super Bowl a little bit, but I will say pay attention to how you listener at home, pay attention to how this album is talked about and written about, because you will have people saying Beyonce is making country adjacent music, but it's full country, and this happens anytime Beyonce puts something out, because she gets people talking, and she's a generational talent, but a lot of people would disagree.
Yeah.
And so, watch as country radio stations refuse to play those songs.
As they already have.
As they already have. And you know what? To that I say, get a job.
Mm-hmm.
Get a job.
Yeah. It's not country-infused music. It is not country-influenced. It's just country music.
It's just country music.
It is just country music.
I'm so excited for a full country album from her. Mm-hmm. And she's from Texas. Make a country album, Queen. What else about the Super Bowl? I will say the Nickelodeon Super Bowl show, the Nickelodeon coverage, was the place to be.
I wish I'd known about that from the beginning, because when I learned that was on, I flipped my TV screen to that coverage so quickly.
It was hilarious.
And it was amazing. Watching SpongeBob and Patrick talk about the Super Bowl and Dora explaining...
Sandy Cheeks, sideline reporter.
Beautiful choice. I mean, amazing. Super happy about that. Seeing Squidward in the line for the bathroom. Hilarious. So funny.
I thought it was hilarious. Listening to Tom Kenny progressively just get tired throughout the night and give up on his SpongeBob voice was probably like the funniest thing I've ever seen. Most of that coverage was like the funniest thing I've ever seen. Just
it was amazing.
Plankton flying across the field. I'm 22 years old. Can you tell? But
20-year-olds are talking about this right now, guys.
The 20-somethings are talking about Nickelodeon.
We are in our 20s.
But definitely a lot of fun. Also, we have to touch on it again.
Blondie.
The blondie of it all. I don't know what to tell y'all. Taylor and Travis are adorable, and I still think it's too cute. They don't make celebrity couples like that anymore.
Nope.
And I'm pilled. What do you think?
They're so precious. I stayed watching the coverage well after they had, the game had ended, they had won, because I just wanted to see what those two did when they saw each other. And I wanted to see the Taylor and Travis content, because I am their target audience for that. So
me too.
Yeah,
and they'll get me every time.
Every
hook, line, and sinker.
Time. Yep.
They'll get me every time.
I will fall for it every time, because it's so precious. I love it. I love love.
I love love.
Well, Super Bowl doesn't have much else for us there.
No, definitely not.
No.
Very quickly, we'll get into what we plan to do, I guess, for each episode of our podcast. Mm-hmm. Upcoming releases, listening to new songs, previewing others. Mm-hmm. We have a few on here. We have a new release from Maggie Rogers. It's called Don't Forget Me. What did you think of it?
I thought that it was amazing. I'm thrilled. I love Maggie. I loved her sophomore album. I just thought it was amazing. There were so many hits from that. I listened to it constantly. I'm really excited for her upcoming album. She said that she recorded it within like 3-5 days, something like that.
That's crazy.
Which is insane. Her dedication and her passion is so apparent, and she just is making the music that she loves. And it's amazing.
There's honestly no one who does it like her. Her craft is. I've watched her since she, the NYU video with Pharrell. I've watched her since then, and it's been a joy to watch her evolve as an artist. And I really like this song. It's very intimate. It's very quiet, building a little bit, but initially pretty quiet. Mm-hmm. But it's sweet Sunday morning music, and I'm seated for the album. What else do we have? We have Noah Kahan.
Yes.
You're more of a Noah Kahan fan than I am. So what did you think?
I feel like it sounded like a lot of his Stick Season songs, to be completely honest.
What was it, like a repackaged version of the album with the new song, or? Yeah,
so basically he just released it's kind of like his final farewell to this era, this Stick Season era that he's done. And so it's Stick Season Forever. And so he put on all of the collabs that he's been doing with, Brandy Carlisle and Gregory. Those are two of the new ones. And so he stuck all those on there and then ended the album with Forever. So it's kind of like his closing. It's his farewell to Stick Season. And I think it was really great. I think it's a great song. I'm excited for his new stuff. I feel like we've kind of been on the Stick Season trained for a while, and I'm just kind of ready to see some new content out of him. And I think Forever just was very much more of another Stick Season song. And I'm just ready for some new stuff from him.
Noah Kahan, I wish you well on your journey. Me personally, I need to close the portal that the Lumineers opened in the year 2013. Hey. I need it to stop. I need it to end. This granola adjacent music, Patagonia, granola, whatever you want to call it. I wish him well on his journey. He seems like a great guy. That She Calls Me Back, the one he did with Casey Musgraves, the remix, was quite good. It was a good pop song. I was like, this is not granola, this is pop. Noah Kahan.
That's one of my favorite, one of his songs off that album is the regular version. No offense to Casey, but I like his ones, his not collabs a little bit more than the collabs.
Yeah. Sorry. But Noah Kahan, I wasn't familiar with your game, but you can write a pretty good pop song. But yeah, I am not the biggest fan, but I wish him well on his journey.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see him wrap up his big new Best New Artist era with a bang. It was sweet.
Yeah.
I guess we should get into just looking forward, general things. This is your area of expertise. I don't have time to watch movies. I don't ever have time to watch movies. I listen to music because I can do it while I work or while I walk to class, whatever. But the Oscars are coming up.
They are.
Big day for Gracie.
Big day for Gracie. I need to get back on my movie game because this semester hit me like a truck, and so I have not logged a movie on Letterboxd since winter break. But I am so excited. The trailer came out for the Oscars. Didn't know that they did a trailer, but okay, that's new information. It was fun, I guess. Very Barbie focused, which is kind of looking to me as Barbie for Best New Picture, which we'll get into that another time. But yeah, I'm hype. I'm so excited, and I cannot wait to see what happens because the noms are kind of stacked. The categories are stacked.
From what I've seen, yeah. And I'm not a movie person. I need to do my homework, I guess. I've only seen Barbie, so maybe I'd be happy if I watched the trailer and saw a bunch of Barbie stuff, but also...
it was a big movie. It makes sense that they went with that one. So.
Yeah, definitely. Any quick music releases that you're excited for before we wrap up?
Ariana Grande and Mariah Carey are releasing a song together, which, to be so honest, I don't care that much, but it is a pretty crazy Queen collab.
Their first, I saw like a Pop Crave tweet and it said their first non-festive collab. That's such an interesting way of looking at it. Non-festive collab.
Yeah.
But yeah, of course we have Beyonce in March, Taylor in April, Maggie Rogers down the line. Casey Musgraves, I think, is putting something out in March. Any movies that you're excited for? A few Super Bowl trailers.
Yeah, the Wicked Super Bowl trailer had me super, super excited. Deadpool and Wolverine was also really fun. And I'm super excited to see Kristen Stewart's new movie, Love Lies Bleeding, that's going to come out. It's about bodybuilding. It's like a queer bodybuilding film. It's A24. Cool. It's the trailer looks amazing. It looks absolutely fire. I'm very excited to see what they do with that. So
I just saw that she did like a Rolling Stone cover shoot for that, I guess in honor of that or to promote that, which was super cool. I guess I'll have to watch it. I don't think I've seen Kristen Stewart in anything since Twilight.
Yeah, so that's what I'm so excited for.
I guess I'll have to tune in.
Yeah, it's a new chapter for her.
Well, you just heard our first very, very long episode of what we're dubbing Pop Goes the Kernel.
Yes.
We promise, we swear that our episodes will not be this long in the future.
Pinky promise.
Pinky promise. But we had a lot to discuss and a lot to cover. But nonetheless, we do hope you enjoyed it because we quite enjoyed it too. And we can't wait to keep doing these for you guys.
Yeah, this was an absolute blast. I cannot wait. And you can check out our news and our sports podcasts as well on our YouTube and Spotify, which is at Kentucky Kernel. And you can also find them all on our website. And make sure to follow us on social media on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter/X, and TikTok. All of that is either KY Kernel or at Kentucky Kernel.